All right. So today, real quick, I wanted to go over how to remove a broken prong out of an outlet. And specifically today, I want to talk about this ground plug, the ground here. So, um, so let me make myself clear that there is no confusion here, because I want to make sure that you're safe and your family's safe here, because that is very important to me, because I am very big into professionals doing the work. But if you can do something from home that is not going to harm you, then then of all means go ahead and do it. And this particular thing, removing this, is something that you can do at home. And and now once again, this is only if you feel safe doing it. If you don't feel safe doing it, please give me or your local family, local provider, electrician a call. So make sure that you feel comfortable with it, for one. Secondly, you want to make sure that it is the correct one, too. Or if you have in the past have had electrical issues in the past, specifically with this ground here, then you might want to take other precautions. So in another video, another blog, I'll have to go into actually metering this stuff if you have a meter on hand. If you don't, then you definitely want to get a hold of an electrician. So let's just jump right into this. First off, I want to make sure that you understand that this particular prong and this prong are not what I am talking about. These are, don't touch these, don't stick anything in them. This is an unsafe area through here. So be very careful. If one of these two are sticking out, you have broken one of these two off, then do not touch them. Don't even come close to them. You want to call your electrician immediately, or if you so choose, you can look up a how-to video of how to actually pull these out safely by going through and looking at your electrical panel and stuff like that, turning off the circuit breaker. I'll stop right there. So anyway, I am talking about this particular slot right here. Now we call this the mouth. In the trade, we call this mouth of the outlet, or these are also called receptacles. But you want to look right here. This is what you're going to be seeing. Now, this is where the ground goes. The actual ground is at a copper piece at the end of your plug. So that is that piece right there. That is the longer piece. It always will be longer. So it's going to take the most abuse. Now, once again, these are the flat blades here. So be careful of those two. If those are sticking out, do not touch it. Call somebody. But if this is sticking out and you know that you haven't had any kind of electrical problems or anything like that, then there shouldn't be any problems touching this whatsoever. This is the ground. This is just like you touching your floor. So just be aware of that. Okay? So this is what I'm talking about. And of course, when you go to plug this in, you're going to be plugging it in either like this, or if your plug is this way, then you're going to be plugging it in this way. Okay? So this is the piece that I'm talking about. Now, what causes this is the pulling out action. So once again, we push this in. What causes this problem, and the reason why this breaks off so often, is there's a couple reasons. One is that when you're pulling this out, you're wiggling it back and forth, okay, real hard, back and forth, back to the side, up and down, and you're trying to pull this out. So that is one reason why this one particularly wears out faster. It's longer, and you're putting all that pressure on it trying to get it out. Now the other is from a long distance or right at the short distance, you're grabbing it here on the cord end and trying to pull it out. Okay, so those are a couple of reasons why this particular part of the plug breaks so often. So make sure that you are pulling these out correctly and properly. So once again, if you have this in here, the proper way of pulling this out is by the plug itself. You want to, most of your grip wants to be right here on the plug, and you want to pull that out. Now it might take wiggling back and forth just a little bit, but not much. You want to put most of your pressure straight outwards, okay, and it will come out. Now these new ones are going to be a little bit harder to do. As they wear, they're going to get easier to do, and eventually I will come out with another blog, another video on some of the indications of a worn out receptacle / outlet here. So we'll get to that some other time. But you want to make sure that you are pushing it in by this plug and then pulling it out straight out. Okay, once again, like I say, it's a little hard whenever it's right like this in my hand, but when it's in the wall, it's a lot easier to do without having to wiggle it. So you might have to wiggle it if your receptacle outlet is wiggling inside your wall. If it's doing that, have an electrician come out and fix that problem. That is an installation problem, and that can be a hazard in itself. You could push it through the wall, things like that, and there's some bigger issues. So I would eventually get that fixed, but not right now. You'll be fine for right now. All right, so those are the right and wrong ways of pulling it out of your outlet. Now, once again, I want to make sure that if it's one of these two, do not pull them out. Call your electrician or find a how on how to turn off your circuit breaker and how to meter it out and so forth to get that out. Now, second to last thing I want to talk about real quick here is that your piece of equipment that you have here that you pulled out now does not have a ground plug. This is very important. This ground plug is a safety issue. This is a safety to your equipment, but most importantly, it is a safety problem for you, the user. Without this safety here, you are risking electrical shock. So make sure that once this happens that you get rid of this, replace this. You can get replacement plugs for these, have your electrician come and do it, or I may even do one on that, because that would be something that you guys could do, you could do personally. But this here is okay. If it's stuck in here, it's stuck right in here, then that's okay. We can deal with that. But this part of it here, if this is broken, you can't replace this. You're going to have to replace this whole piece, this whole plug. So be careful with this. Make sure that you're not using equipment that does not have this. Now, they do make equipment out there that doesn't come with this at all. Those are okay to use. But if it did come with, at some point in time, did have that right there, then you do not want to use that piece of equipment. This is a safety issue, and thus the piece of equipment can no longer be used until this is replaced. It can be used, but I would not recommend it. I would get this replaced as soon as I could. Now, moving on. Taking this out is extremely simple. All you need is a pair of pliers or a needle nose plier. Most of the time it's sticking out a little bit. Just take those pair of pliers, something like this, or a needle nose or something like that, okay? And all you're going to do is you're going to come up and see if I can show this a little bit. It's going to be kind of hard showing, but you're going to grab that and pull it out, okay? That is that simple. You want to get a good grip on it. You want to pull it straight out. You do not want to, you might have to wiggle a little bit, but not by much, because you don't want to end up breaking it inside there and making it impossible to get out and having to replace this all the way. So this is getting a little bit long on this video, but there's some things that I wanted to make sure that you understood, some warnings on this. Like I say, if I cannot say this enough, if it is right here or right here, call an electrician in your local area and have him come out, turn off the breaker, test it, and then pull it out, okay? That is a safety issue for you and your family. Keep everyone clear away from it. Stay there if you have to with your family until someone gets there to do it. If someone can't come out immediately to do that, then start looking online for somehow to turn off that breaker. Definitely set someone there. If you have another adult there, have them there. But like I say, extremely careful in those two. The other one, if you feel safe about it, then go ahead and pull it out. It's not that big of a deal. All right. Well, if you have any comments, please leave them below. Also, if you have any more questions, please shoot me a line. Contact at coloradoredelectrical.com. Again, that's contact at coloradoredelectrical.com. Please shoot me a line. Love to chat with you, answer any questions that I can. I'll try to get them answered through a video like this or through my blog, okay? All right. Good out there for you, and be careful and be very safe. Till next time.